Welcome to Story Comic Presents, where we interview amazing storytellers and artists. This is episode 420. I'm your host, Barney Smith of StoryComic.com, and we're excited to have with us the internationally acclaimed and talented comic creator of Wake Comics, DeWayne Dority. DeWayne.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me on. You actually got my last name right. Most people botch it.
Really?
So thank
you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How could you mess that up? How do other people say it?
They say Doherty. They kind of say it the Irish way, but I'm Cherokee, so it's just Doherty.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
All right. So we were just talking before we went in on the air that you just actually ended up having you're funded, successfully funded your latest Kickstarter, Blood Sable.
Yes.
And so talk to us a little bit about this, DeWayne.
Blood Sable. Oh, that book. Oh my goodness. I'm so proud of this one because Blood Sable, I made that character for my son when he was born. And when he was born, I wrote out the story and everything when he was just a baby. So, when I was doing the story and doing the outline for it, I had a couple artists come in at first and, they ended up leaving. So it pushed the project back. And then I had my great friend John Coates, because he's close to my family. He wanted to help me out with the project. So he did the pencils and inks. And I pretty much re-inked the whole book. And I colored the whole book and just added some extra details into it. And it is my most funded and most just accomplished book because I really wanted Blood Sable to be the number one book because it was the first story I ever did for my, Wake Comics, journey. So seeing Blood Sable just, have a little piece of me in there and just seeing all the love people got for it and backed it. It was a great feeling. And I'm so thankful. I actually ordered a couple of books, so I had one extra copy for myself, which was a collab cover I did. So the artist, Jadeep, he did the pencils and I did the inks and the colors for this cover. So this was gorgeous. A special cover. So I'm pretty proud of how I did the inks and colors for this one. I got the little gloss finish to it. So I just always try to keep like an extra copy for myself to just, just look back on and just be proud of.
Right. So talk to us about I love origin stories of heroes. What's the origin story of Blood Sable? What is his powers?
Blood Sable, his origins is, he's just a normal dad. He has some down on his luck. His wife sadly passes away. So it's, I pull inspiration from my real life because my wife has cancer and, we've gotten not really good news. So when I did Blood Sable, I just kind of want to pull a little bit of my life into the story. Not a lot, just a tiny little glimpse into some stuff and just make it Eric Burns' story. And so, when Eric Burns, one night he's asleep in his house and all of a sudden, intruders break in and sadly he ends up losing his life. But thankfully, the Blood Sable amulet, which was given to him by his past wife, she gives him the Blood Sable amulet, which gives him powers. He has blood manipulation, but he can also fly. He can make hand weapons of any kind, like katanas, anything he can handheld or anything. He can also blood transport. So if he knows where someone's blood, he can transport to their location. So he has some pretty cool powers that I plan to expand on later. Because book 2, I already have the synopsis for how I want that one to go. So I already have that one written down. It's going to be great. We're going to figure out what the Blood Sable amulet is. And there's characters in the story that also have a different type of Blood Sable amulet like Blood Sable. I have other characters that, Nemesis that I made for my son. So a lot of cool characters that I came up with my wife. So we have Saavedra. We have Sorrow Sword Course. We have No Sleep. We have... there's a cat villain that likes to scream because my son, when he gets upset, he likes to yell. So I made a villain for him for book 3. His name is Call Out. There we go. His name is Call Out. So yeah, most of the villains I made for my son as well. So they're all interlinked. So yeah, and when I created Blood Sable, he went through probably like a dozen different looks and designs until he finally got to where he is now. So I'm proud of how he is right here. how he looks now. Because at first I was going to make him kind of look like Backlash from Wildcats, and I didn't like it at first because I didn't want it to look like a copycat, so I kept redesigning it, and this is what I came up with. And my son loves it. He always gives kisses to my artwork when he likes it. So when he kissed it, I was like, "That's perfect." Yeah. So my son, I always when I do a story, I always try to let him look at it. So because when I see his eyes directing to pages and stuff, I know that I got him, hooked the line and sinker. So my son actually helps in his little way too.
Now, as you mentioned too, is that you have some ideas for issue 2 and 3. Is this going to be an ongoing series or a finite mini series, like a certain amount of
Just
issues?
probably like a mini series because I know how I want book 2 and 3, and I mean three, yeah, 2, 3, and 4. I know how I want to go through that, and we might branch off to Aiden Burns and do his side story as Blood Sable, but we'll see.
Mhm.
Because I really do have those 4 stories already ready to go. I just want to see where it takes it, where I take the story. Because right now I know where I want it to end. But if I can figure out if I can do it past 4, 4 books, I'll try to do some more. Because I really have his story already locked in. Because I already know how I want it to end and just how I
Right.
want to transition his story to Aiden Burns next. And that artwork right there, that little the poster down in the bottom right, that was
Mhm.
the original pose that I made of Blood Sable when I first drew him. So I redrew the pose in that style. So I redrew
Oh,
my
nice.
character's first pose to that one.
So, talk to us about some of other Wake Comics other titles that you have.
I also published my Crescent Blue Conquered Darkness story, which was awesome. He's a bubble manipulating master. He's able
Oh,
to
cool.
manipulate bubbles, which is pretty cool. He can make himself multiple. He can leave his location in places. But he's pretty awesome because my son has autism. He loves bubbles, so I came up with an awesome character. And this cover is by Sojak Art. So
Okay.
he's a great friend. He wanted to do a cover for me, so he did this one, which is pretty awesome. Then on the back, I have the thank you, my son, because he loves bubbles. But yeah, Crescent Blue, he's pretty powerful. He can even fly on his bubbles. He can create different types of bubble manipulating events when he wants to. He's a pretty cool character. He's able to see 360. You pretty much can't physically hurt him because he's a bubble. So anything that penetrates his skin will just go through him like soap.
Right. And who's the liar? That's another character you have.
Oh, liar. Oh yeah, liar. This one. My friend Carl Hewitt, he redrew my. This is my artwork. He redrew it in his style and colored it.
Okay.
And so yeah, so I love that he redrew my original artwork in his style, which was pretty cool. But Liar's based off of I kind of have him based off of my father because I had a horrible upbringing, and so Liar was kind of a character I wanted to represent my upbringing. And so we see little pieces of my house and stuff in this book, just little callbacks to my life and things I went through. So Liar, I plan to come out with his Kickstarter around August, so I'll have time to just get his set up. But this is a great book. I've had this one lined up. I actually did Liar twice. The first time I did it, the project didn't fund on my other Kickstarter profile. And then the second time, I tried to do a collab with someone, and that fell through. So I was kind of devastated about that because it was really awesome, that I was going to collab with someone on it. And then I finally just sat down and said, I'm just going to do 50 pages myself, just all by
Mm.
myself, ink it, letter it, color it. And so I'm pretty proud I got it to where I wanted to be. I re-edited it. I just redrew everything. It just took a long process, but it was worth it. I really wanted Lyra to just have his time to shine. So in
Okay.
August, I plan to have his book come out. So and Shape Master, he's going to be coming out around. This is my other book I'll have coming out. Shape Master, he'll be coming out in March. So I plan to have that the 35-day time for that. So this is my first children's book I've ever made. So I
Huh.
plan to have that one, which is pretty cool. And then I plan on doing this one in 2026. But my second kids book, Kevin and Bob Find Their Ducks. This one's been a pretty good one because my son he has ducks. He has a bunch of ducks, over a dozen of them, and we have Kevin and Bob. My wife won them out of a vending machine, so she goes in and she's able to get a bunch of ducks for my son. He loves them, and so I decided one day to name the two aliens, the blue and pink one, Kevin and Bob, and my son fell in love with them. I say they're his little duck herders, so I make sure Kevin and Bob take care of his ducks. And so, actually, when I got this home today, when it came in the mail, my son straight reached into the box and pulled this one out first. So I knew I made a home run when he grabbed the books, and he's been loving it. So I'm sitting here quietly keeping it here because if he sees it, he's going to take off running with it.
Now, what about because and also too, I see that you also have something as well, glow stick. What is that?
Yeah. Uh, in 2026, I'll have my Red Cloud Force, which is kind of my Power Rangers, Green Lantern, uh, type of story. My commander Nueus Omna, we're gonna see how awesome he is in his story. The leader of the Red Cloud Force is like a bunch of aliens, humans, just on planet Pluto, well, the dwarf planet Pluto, and we'll see how that they're gonna pretty much be my team. And I already have that story written, so I plan to start getting sketching on that one in Procreate, get it all put together. Cause it's gonna be 24 pages. And Glowstick is just an independent project I wanted to do because he was originally just a character I made up for a redraw for Pop Cross Studios.
Hmm.
And so I just decided I want to actually do a story with him, and I already made up his world and stuff. So it's going to be kind of like a superhero story as well. Just 24 pages. It's just going to be awesome how the world interacts. There's 3 different group sets of people, and they're based on gauges of their power levels. So we'll see how that works out. Glowstick's just an independent character that I already just have a story for. So I just wanted to get that done and see how it works out. So Glowstick is going to come out. So I'm just happy that I have projects done and projects upcoming that already, pretty much know where to go with them. So I always try to plan ahead so I know what to do next. So when I have stories done ahead of time, that way I can just take a minute to breathe and just work on some other stuff every now and then.
I know, because you also have like Flash Wave, you got Silent Thunder, you got Zoojack,
Yeah, and
you got
those,
all kinds of
yeah,
stuff.
Flash Wave, Silent Thunder, Ezra's, those were original characters I also created when I created Crescent Blue and Blood Sable. I created the original 5 characters I created was Crescent Blue, Blood Sable, Zoojack, Silent Thunder, Flash Wave. Those are my 5 original ones. And before I ever created those 5, when my wife was in the hospital having brain surgeries, I created a character called Rider Wake, and his companion Ezra's. So those are the main stories I want to get out first because those are the characters I started off from a clean slate from. So that's how I'm working. Just proud of how I've growing in my art, getting better and better. If people see where I came from back in 2015, I'm way better than what I used to be, and I'm still working on how to be better at lettering and coloring and stuff. So I still got a ways to go.
What now? Is this all in like the same shared universe? So is there ways that like Blood Sable and Liar and like all these
Yes.
characters they is there going to be a point where they're going to interact with each other?
Yes. There's characters in Liar that people will get to see when I launch Liar. There's characters in that book that will uh, talk about things happening with Crescent Blue and with Flash Wave and other things like that. So I have characters in Crescent Blue. I had a little extra time to put an extra story in Crescent Blue, so we know that Flash Wave and Crescent Blue know each other in Crescent Blue, which is cool. I always had that little story um, put together to how those two meet. And in Blood Sable, he's going to eventually meet up with the team sooner or later because Crescent Blue, he's the OG. He's pretty much the leader of the team. He's got to go find his teammates.
Hmm.
So that's what's going to happen. I already made sure in Crescent Blue to put that together. So they're all going to end up meeting up, and there's a character called 3 Times. He's been my nemesis since day one. That they're going to have to come together and beat this guy. And he's pretty. And there's some pretty cool things about him that I don't want to tell people right now, but he is very interconnected with these characters. So all these characters will end up finding out about each other sooner or later.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I always want to try to get my characters connected because writing them single and not being able to interconnect with them would be pointless if I'm trying to make a universe. So I want to make
Right.
sure when I did Crescent Blue and when I did Liar to kind of interact some of the characters from other stories into this one, into those.
Well, hey there. If you're enjoying our podcast, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep this show going. We love hearing from you, so any feedback is welcome. And thank you for being a part of our podcast family and for all your support. It truly means a lot to us. How often are you able to get a book published? It seems like you have all these ideas. It seems like once every like 4 months you seem like publishing something.
Yeah, that's what I plan to do, because I really don't want to have people wait around for longer than that, because people, they enjoy their money and they enjoy their time, and I don't want people to just back my book and then have to wait on it. I always try to make sure my projects are done ahead of time and they're edited and ready to go, so when people do back my book, they only have to wait a month or two tops, because I want to make sure they get it, and I make sure I get everything as great as I can through Mixum. I try to get their best products that they have so people can enjoy my books and just have them, because I've been reaching out to people today about Shape Master, and there's a lot of moms and dads who actually work at military bases who actually want to try to get some of my kids' book at their bases. So I'm
Hmm.
pretty proud about that I'm trying to slowly interconnect my way, to other people through my books.
Right.
Because
So,
I used to be into football. I used to be a college football player, and I used to love art, and I dropped it, and I decided I didn't think I wanted to do it, chase my other dreams, but life came full circle, and so I'm back into doing art. I'm happy. I'm proud. I get to see my books when they come in, and just to enjoy them.
so talk to us a little bit about Shape Master, because that book is coming out soon as well.
Yeah, yeah. Shape Master, I actually made Shape Master, during 2019. When everybody was stuck inside, and so I actually had a notepad, because my son loves Dr. Seuss. I was already prepared. I already had this stuff sitting on the table. I have a notepad, and one of the first artworks I made, I saw I saw a Dr. Seuss cover, and I was like, maybe I can draw Shape Master, just doodle it up and see what it looks like. And so that's where the concept came from. My son loves Dr. Seuss, so I was like, maybe he'll like this, little story. And so I just made little artworks of Shape Master. So I got original artworks of him that I just put into Procreate and redrew. So there's artworks of Shape Master. He's been around for a while. And then I did my concepts. I have my little rhymes here. So I've had it down for a while. Had my rhymes and my little
Hmm.
concept art. So it's just been awesome to be able to finally put Shape Master together. It's just a little love letter to my son. I just thought I just wanted to attempt a kids book, because my son loves children's books, and I just had an idea and a concept that I wanted to put together, and it
Huh.
finally happened, and I'm pretty proud of it. It's not a huge book; it's 20 pages, but it's pretty simple.
Right.
The rhymes are pretty enjoyable. I tried, because kids, their attention span is, oh man, like maybe 3 seconds long. So I wanted to make a book that was colorful, so when the kids looked at the pages, they could see the colors and the character and the shapes, and they can
Right.
interact with it very quickly, and they can enjoy what they're looking at. Because
Right.
kids, when they find a book that they love, they're gonna want to read it time and time again. So I wanted to make sure Shape Master was one of those books for kids that they could actually retain their level of intrigue for it. So I just wanted to slowly work on it. I actually looked up, when I was doing Shape Master, I was actually looking up words to rhyme with things. So I would like sit there for hours just writing out my words on the page and go through little rhyming simulators and see if it would make sense. So I'm very thankful that I finally got it through, because oh my gosh, anybody thinks rhymings are easy. They're not, they don't know what they're talking about. Rhyming a children's book is actually pretty hard, because you got to find words to rhyme with another word.
Right.
It is not a simple task. Dr. Seuss made it look easy. And actually, last night I was going. My son loves Mr. Brown Can Moo Can You, and Dr. Seuss, he knew how to do stuff with his books. There's some times where there's pages that are left completely blank, and he somehow managed to get some of those books published at like Fox on Socks. Those words don't make any sense, but kids love them. My son loves that book. So Dr. Seuss knew what he was doing when he was, because I think the artwork for most of his books is the reason why he sold all his books. Because some of the books, some of those rhyming, so Dr. Seuss, what were you thinking?
And so what have you learned after having, like, you've done 3 Kickstarters. And you're working on your 4th with Shape Master now, which is going to be launching soon. How has your products evolved with each Kickstarter that you've been able to do?
Well, with each Kickstarter, I've learned how to print my books, because at first I didn't know how to print my books at all. I didn't know the dimensions and stuff. So when printing my books, I made sure to do the best quality in Procreate, because if you don't have your stuff set up a right way in Procreate, like the canvas size, when it goes to print, I found out through Mixum, if it doesn't go when it goes to Mixum, if it's not printed right, it'll come out pixelated or blurry, or you won't be able to see the words on the page. So it's just, as publishing my books more and more, it's made me, understand, how to put colors together and how to make, the lettering pop out. So when it gets printed, people can see it. So it's just mostly, I've been learning how to, because Mixam has a lot of products. So I've been learning how to do my art and see which new products I can get, because people love to have stuff in their collection. So every project I've worked on so far, I've done better at, what type of stuff I should get. Because with Shape Master, that book, I'm going to, if we get to the $500 first stretch goal, I plan on getting keychains for everybody so people can have keychains for Shape Master. So I think that'll be pretty cool that parents can have keychains for their kids. So, and with Blood Sable, I did stickers, my first ever, huge batch of stickers. And people love the stickers on that one. So it's been kind of like planning on what works for people. I don't want to make my books too large so people can read them and enjoy them. I don't want to, because Liar's going to be 50 pages. So I think that's probably the max I'm ever going to do is a 50-page book, because that's a lot of stuff in that one. But I try to make my books to be within the page limits that people can actually read and enjoy. So it's pretty much been a huge process, because I've had a lot of great artists even reach out to me and say, hey, here's how you can do better on your lettering and stuff. My friend Carl, who did that Liar cover, he sent me a video on how I can make my own lettering. So yeah, it's been a great process of doing that. And Mixam's been so awesome about printing my books. They get here on time. So it's been, when I did Crescent Blue, I didn't have Mixam yet. So it took a little longer. And when I finally was able to order through Mixam, it was the first company that I was just like, wow, they got my stuff done within a week time. So it was pretty awesome to finally be able to have someone who can get my stuff done on time so I can get it to people. So it's just been a learning process. I'm very proud and thankful that I'm getting better at it. I know each project I can add something different so people can, be like, okay, he knows what he's doing. And they're going to hopefully be excited for the next one, because I plan to have little figurines of Liar for his project. So I just try to get a little bit better for everything. So it's just a work in process, pretty much. You never know what's going to land. So just try to prepare ahead of time is what I always try to do. Is, if a project doesn't, get huge off the ground, just at least attempt it, because then I can learn how to be better next time. And that's what I've been doing, just getting better.
And so, so congratulations again on your successful Kickstarters. And
thank you.
And if people want to buy your comics, where's the best place they could go to?
They can either order through Mixam through me, or they can just reach out to me, because I plan to have a website up, because right now I'm starting to finally get books. I know how to get my supply and my quantity, so I plan to have a website soon. And if people want to, buy some of my merch, they can go to my Teespring store if they want some of that as well. So I just got to get my website set up, because I'm finally getting the groove slowly as being a comic creator of what I need to do next. So I definitely need to set up a website for sure to get people to buy it, because I plan to, people do want it. Mixam is a great place I can get my books to them very quickly.
DeWayne, you're going to have plenty of comics coming out, so you should come back on anytime when you want to talk about another one of your titles.
Thank you. Yeah, because like I said, Liar's coming up in August, and if people love Kevin and Bob as much as my son does, he might come out this year too. So I might have to switch schedule for that one as well. So he might be coming out probably December, January. So I don't know. We'll see.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much, DeWayne.
Thank you, Barney, for having me on. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for emailing me and just keeping up with me, because I know we had to switch schedule a couple of times. So I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.